All right, Derek Keller here, back on KPOO San Francisco, 89.5 FM, and I'm joined in the studio by Whitney Myer, who's a singer, songwriter, performer. We'll get to her in a second, but I just wanted to play a quick clip from the web, so we'll see how finicky this is. But this is of Whitney on the hit show The Voice, which is on NBC, and it was pretty cool. I've seen this clip.
Just want you close, yeah, where you can stay forever. You can be sure that it will only get better. You and me together through the days and nights. I don't worry 'cause everything's gonna be alright. The people keep talking, well they can say what they like, and all I know is everything's gonna be alright. No one in the way of what I feel for you. No one, it's gonna get in the way. I said no one is gonna get in the way of what I feel for you. No one, I said no one is gonna get in the way of what I feel for you.
All right. That was pretty impressive. So what you can't see, because this is radio, is all of the guests on this show The Voice, flip their chairs around, and that's like a big sign
Yeah.
that tells you that they're very interested in you. And so how the show works is one of them picks the singer, or nobody picks the singer, to be their protege.
Yeah.
And they
exactly.
coach that singer.
Yeah,
So in this case, you had CeeLo Green, who I'm a big fan of.
me too.
Are you?
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera, who I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Adam Levine, pretty cool guy. And and then the country guy, what's his name?
Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton, yeah.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice guy.
He is a nice guy. I think he's, out of all of them, he's probably the most genuine, I would say.
Okay.
Even though country is really not my thing. I have a really hard time connecting with country music, unless it's old school Dolly Parton or something like that.
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for country. But
yeah, okay.
so ultimately you decide, since they all turned around for you, you get to pick any of the four hosts to
Yep.
be with. And you picked Adam Levine.
I did pick Adam.
Why'd you do that?
Well, I was like, before it happened, I was kind of like deliberating, like, who would I want to go with? And I, like, my favorite artist, like, is probably CeeLo Green as an overall package. My favorite vocalist is obviously Christina Aguilera, hands down.
Yeah, I'm
She's
surprised
amazing.
you didn't pick her.
I was
Very...
It was hard for me. I surprised myself because she was like one of my idols when I was like 14. I used to like listen to her Stripped album and like cry on my bed and be like, oh, she's so awesome. So that was really surreal, like, to have her talking to me. And but I chose, for some reason, I just went with my gut, and my gut said Adam in that moment. So.
It had nothing to do with his looks.
No, not really. I mean, kind of, but not really.
Yeah.
It was mostly that he said, like, you could win this whole thing, and I'm going to do everything in my power to help you do that. And so I
sold
was
you.
thinking, he totally did. And I was thinking, like, okay, so, like, you're probably not going to kick me off. And then he did. But that's okay. It's the name of the game.
He kicked you off.
Well, he didn't kick me off, but he didn't choose me in the next round.
Oh, right. Okay. So,
Yeah.
but overall, how was your experience? I mean, TV shows, people sometimes walk away being
Yeah.
really scarred for life.
Yeah.
Others find it kind of empowering.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I think it's a nice mix of both the negative and positives of being involved with a Hollywood television show like that. I think that I learned a lot, and it helped me pinpoint what I want to do in the music world, because there's so many different options and different levels you can be at. So it really helped me figure out where I wanted to be, and it also like gave me a huge amount of confidence. I never thought I could. I thought I wanted to pass out when I was singing there on national television.
You sang Alicia Keys. What's the song again?
No One.
No One. Yeah, that was a good song, and
Thanks.
you did a very good job.
Thank you.
Obviously, they all turned around. Whitney Myer is my guest. You are performing at a couple places this week in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Brick and Mortar Music Hall.
Yep.
which is 1710 San Francisco Street, or I'm sorry, Mission Street.
Mm-hmm.
And then your other event is at Expressions College, and
Yeah.
that's going to be on Thursday, May 30th
Yeah.
at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and that one, if you want to go to, just make sure you RSVP online for that one.
Okay, and then for tickets, and you have a website, your Twitter is Whitney Myer Band.
Actually, it's Whitney Myer, Whitney_Myer. I was in the Whitney Myer band for a while, and then I recently disbanded, and now just
Ooh,
Whitney
okay.
Myer. Yeah.
Got it.
No, that's a very accurate question to ask. I appreciate that.
Okay, Whitney Myer, and you have a website too?
I do, and that's whitneymyer.com. And then also, like, my Facebook, I post a lot of things on there, and that's also just Whitney Myer artist page.
So this show obviously took place in Los Angeles. Did you grow up there?
No, actually, born and raised in Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah, and I drove here, actually, San Francisco, for the open call, what they call cattle call auditions.
Oh, it was
you
up
feel
here.
like cattle. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I stood in line with 5,000 other people and auditioned, and then the experience kind of took off. So I feel really lucky that way.
And how many people of the 5,000 that performed here ended up going to the show?
There's one other girl who actually is playing with me on Tuesday, Lindsay Paveo.
Okay.
She actually went further than I did on the show, and she's from Sacramento. Her and I are the only ones from San Francisco that made it.
Nice.
So
that's amazing.
yeah, it was. I mean, I think 155,000 people
Oh
tried
my
out
God.
total that year. So like, I just was like flabbergasted every time I got advanced to the next round. I was like, oh my gosh, there's
That's
so
a
many
huge
talented
stamp
people.
of approval.
Oh my
I
God.
mean,
Well, there's so many talented people. You think about, like, across the nation. That's a huge. It still, like, blows my mind.
well, I mean, if you look at it this way too, winning the show, a lot of politics, a lot of ass kissing, a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that I'm not even
Yeah.
aware of, but I can
Yeah.
imagine. But just getting to that show, getting past the
Yeah.
cattle call, that's the
Yeah.
real stamp of approval, in my opinion.
I agree with you, because you had to have gotten a lot of yeses to get to that point, and I think it's okay. Like, I think everything happens for a reason, and it would have been nice to go further, but I'm totally happy with where I'm at right now, and the notoriety, I guess, or publicity that the show has given me has really been great and helping me on my own solo career without anybody kind of barking down my throat what I'm supposed to do musically or artistically.
Yeah, I'm not a big reality show fan. I actually, believe it or not, got sucked into the first season, which was before
Yeah.
this, and I thought it was a really cool
Yeah.
idea. And I never really watched American Idol, but this had a different twist to it. It seemed more interesting.
You know what? Honestly, me neither. I think I watched, the first American Idol with Kelly Clarkson, and then after that, I didn't really watch. And then when I auditioned for the show, I didn't even have a television, and I still actually don't have a television. So I feel
Probably
ya.
a good thing.
I totally feel you
Yeah.
on the reality TV show thing. Like, they're fun, and I get it, sort of, but I'd rather spend time playing music, obviously, I guess.
Well, let's talk about your EP here, too. It's called Whitney Myer, Articles of Luminous Nature.
That's right.
That's deep. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Luminous Nature,
Yeah.
bright stuff.
Luminous. I really like that word. I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of being luminous from the inside out, sort of thing. And also a way of embracing vulnerability and allowing that to be like a courageous thing for people. And that's kind of all tied in with this title.
Cool. Let's hear this song, Wake and Watch.
I haven't seen you for days, but I remember your skin. the voice inside my heart. And how dare they try and pull us apart? Because I awake and watch the sun rise every morning, and I will send out my soul to yours. 'Cause no one knows how I love you. I said I love you. I love you. No matter what they do, I said I love, I love you.
Ghetto Gumbo is what goes down every Friday night at KPOO 89.5 FM from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. hosted by K-Max. It's the show that displays the dopest in underground hip-hop, interviews from local to nationwide artists, dope, soul, funk, anything that can fit in the equation. You'll never know what's going to happen on Ghetto Gumbo. It's a dope experience, a great ride. Keep the dial froze and tune in every Friday night. Ghetto Gumbo, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
That's right, the Ghetto Gumbo. K-Max, one of my favorite programmers here at KPOO. Make sure you check out his show. There's a lot of great programs at KPOO, and I don't want to pick favorites, but I really like K-Max. Anyways, I also really like Whitney, who's here right now. Whitney Myer. Again, you may have seen her on the NBC show The Voice.
Yeah.
We just heard her song. It was the first track on her EP. Sounded very good.
Thank you.
What was the process of... How long ago did that come out, or did you record it?
Actually, I just released it April 26th in my hometown, Reno, Nevada. We have like a really nice theater there, and lots of really big artists have played there, like Frank Sinatra,
Oh,
Marilyn
wow.
Manson.
Frank Sinatra.
I know,
Marilyn.
all the way. I wanted to span.
They were
you know.
friends, right?
Oh yeah, the BFFs
Yeah.
for life. So there's a lot of really, really great musicians that have played that stage, and I got to release it there, and we did really well, and it was amazing. And we did I really like the idea of creating a full experience for the live show, so not just music, but like projection and costume and lights to help fully realize the vision that I kind of had when I was writing the music.
Can we expect that tomorrow at Brick and Mortar?
You can expect a little bit of that. Unfortunately, I can't travel with my
Right.
full crew at this point,
Yeah.
but that is definitely my goal. And if you guys come and see the show and then you get on the email list, and then I can be like, hey, bigger venue, I can bring X amount of people, then I can totally do that show. So
So you said you grew up in Reno. What were some of your childhood influences musically,
Yeah.
artistically?
yeah, well, my whole family, they're all musicians. My dad plays guitar, my uncle plays the drums, my other uncle plays the drums, my mom plays guitar, sings, and piano. So I remember learning how to sing harmony with my mom when I was 12. She was playing her keyboard, band in a box deal, and she taught me how to sing with her. And then I sang in church a little bit growing up, and then I eventually strayed away into the secular world and started doing my own thing. And I mean, Erykah Badu, Gwen Stefani. I used to really like Sublime, even though you can't necessarily hear that in my music.
No, I was going to actually ask
But-
what kind of, what genre you put yourself in. I
Yeah.
know that's kind of a
Yeah.
question artists don't like to.
We have to answer it.
You don't have to.
Oh, we should, though. I get it. It's I call it like electronic soul.
Okay.
I'm very like R&B soul influenced.
That is
like,
kind of Erykah Badu. I play a lot
Yeah.
of D'Angelo
Yeah,
and
heck
Erykah
yeah.
Badu.
Neo soul is like I guess my ideal genre would be like electronic neo soul or something like that because that's like where my heart is. Like I got to hear that backbeat with that snare and
Right.
stuff. Like that's my jam.
Just like in church, right?
Yeah, similar.
A lot of artists come in here and they'd say, yeah, I was in church and sang
Yeah.
there. I guess that's a good starting ground.
It's a really good
People kind of
platform.
have to listen to you.
They do, yeah. They do have to listen to you, and also like you want to do good because you're not only singing for people, you're singing for God.
True.
So there's a lot of pressure there. You're like,
He
okay,
will mess you up
I got
if you do
to
bad.
practice. Yeah,
That's funny. So does your family come out to the shows or?
they absolutely do. My dad was in a band with me in the Whitney Myer band actually,
Oh, okay.
and he's a killer guitar player. And you can look up some YouTube videos and see some of that. And he's also on some of the albums that are on iTunes. So they definitely come to the show and support. I have like an amazing family that way. They're extremely supportive of what I'm doing.
Does he play on this record?
Not on this one. This was my first breakout solo album, so I was
okay.
kind of like making a statement.
Okay.
But I'm sure we will play again together.
So again, Whitney Myer is going to be at the Brick and Mortar Music Hall. You're familiar with San Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say the Mission area is really cool.
Yeah.
Mission Street.
I like it a lot. I'm really excited to play there. I think that everyone I've talked to about it is like, oh, it's a cool venue. So, and we popped in the other day and it looks pretty sweet. So
It is nice.
Yeah.
And a lot of good Mexican food in the area too.
Ooh, yeah. I like
gotta
that.
check that out.
We should do that.
Yeah, Tuesday, May 28th, and then Thursday, the 30th, you're going to be at Expressions College. That's in Oakland, right?
Emeryville.
Emeryville. Very close.
Yeah.
At Myer Hall. Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Creepy.
Jesus.
No, no, no.
Whitney Myer playing at Myer Hall, 6
Yeah.
p.m. at Expressions
Yeah.
College. And that's a free show.
That is a free show, but you have to
Fantastic.
RSVP online to be allowed in.
Okay.
So, and I'm posting the link on my Facebook page, my artist Facebook page, and it's also on the Expressions website.
Okay.
So you can go through either of those mediums to get there. And I encourage either of them. I'm going to have my full band, and I love my band. They're just killing. So if you like anything that you're hearing it live is going to be that much more interesting.
And again, at Whitney Myer on Twitter.
Yeah, Whitney_Myer, MYER.
So let's go ahead and hear one last song from your album, Drowned in Love. Give me a little synopsis of this one.
Drowned in Love, that song, it's a little bit about feeling overwhelmed with feelings of like basically feeling like you gave everything in a situation and the other person kind of didn't. So you're kind of like floating in your own emotional heartbreak love.
Here it is, Drowned in Love, Whitney
right.
Myer.
It's a sad and beautiful distance that lies between our hearts. One that I used to walk lonely, my steps made an arc. But now I've fallen far away from the light, away from where you depths, calling your name, just like a siren. Pulling me down, deep water all around. Finally, I see you now. You make it funny, but I'm drowning up. Pulling me down, deep water all around. Finally, I see you now. You make it funny, but I'm drowning up. Love, you make it falling, but I could have sworn that you were my wine. We were on fire, brighter than the sun. With my back to the sparkling blue, ask myself, did I ever really know you? No. All around, finally I see you now. You make it funny, but I'm drowning up. Pulling me down, deep water all around. Finally I see you now. You make it funny, but I'm drowning up. Love, you make it funny, but I'm drowning up. It might take all of me to say, but I can only hope and pray this. Now and call you. You make it funny, but I'm drowning up. It might take all of me to say, but I can only hope and pray this. Now and call you. You make it funny, but I'm drowning up.
Low down and dirty shame.
Jay Johnston here, dancing DJ and longtime host of the award-winning blues show, The Blues House Party, inviting everyone to come and listen every Monday from 3 to 6 p.m. I'll be dropping the needle on the music I love, American rhythm and blues. Support the music and KPOO Radio. Thank you.
Tell me, how can a poor man make it? I said, when money, is the name of...
That's right. Jay Johnston's Blues House Party takes place every Monday at 3 p.m., just following my show. Also wanted to let you know out there, I'll be on a little early next week. I'll be covering for Marilyn Fowler, so I'll be on at 11 a.m., which is crazy because I don't even wake up that early sometimes. My guest is Whitney Myer. We just heard another one of her tunes, Drowning in Love.
Yeah, Drowned in Love.
Yes.
Hmm. I know it sounds a little
it's a very romantic
epically
album.
melancholy.
Is it not?
It is. It definitely is. This one is one of those that definitely is based out of pure raw emotion. It wasn't like I sat down and was like, I want to write a song about this. It was just like, writing, playing, recording.
But you got to be inspired by something. So.
It's true. And I often think that those are that's some of the best stuff. That's like something that no matter what type of music you listen to, at least you can relate to that sort of raw emotion, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to badmouth any artist, but a lot of people I feel nowadays maybe don't have any inspiration.
Mm-hmm. I think they're writing for money.
Yeah.
Like you know they're writing what they think people want to hear, and that's never. I don't think that leads to a career with longevity, and so.
And not only that, well, on the flip side, do you want somebody who's like a strung out heroin addict? I mean, they're inspired by different demons.
It can go a little too far.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle is the sweet spot.
I agree.
Maybe like a few months in jail at some point.
Yeah.
A small cocaine addiction.
Yeah, like a couple serious breakups. Maybe like a band member dies, and then
that's always a good one.
It's kind of got to go down. A plane crash.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not a plane crash. That was one step too
depends
far.
if you're on it or not.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of plane crashes, I was wondering if you'd like to go over a couple of news stories.
I would. Let's do this.
I know you're an incredibly busy woman.
Oh, yeah.
But it is Memorial Day, and I wanted to get into a couple of things here. So just a couple hours ago, President Obama was talking to America on the television, which you don't have, so you missed this.
I did
But
miss
he was basically saying, let's not take American troops for granted, because he's got the feeling that not everybody is up on the wars and all that kind of stuff. He was at the Arlington National Cemetery, which I guess he does this every year. And he said, even as we turn a page away from Iraq and Afghanistan by the end of 2014, let us never forget that the nation is still at war. And you actually mentioned you have a family member serving
do.
right now.
I do. My cousin is in the Army. He's stationed in Alaska. And
That's a good place to be.
You know,
I mean, really, for a...
Oh, really? You
Well,
think?
for being in the Army, I would choose that.
I mean, he likes it a lot, actually. But I think it's an interesting thing. I mean, I feel like we've been at war for so long that, like, I don't feel like we're at war.
That's why he's...
And I think that's a very accurate statement that he's making, I guess, because it's definitely not, I mean, maybe it's because I don't have a television, but it's not in the forefront of my mind.
That's good.
On a daily basis.
Honestly, you're not missing a whole lot of important talk on
it's true.
on television.
Not a
with
whole lot of
that.
action.
No, it's just a lot of bantering and kind of like my show. This is interesting. I found this interesting. I like to talk about this. There's an article, and this came from Time magazine, so this is a legitimate source. It says that marijuana might be the next diabetes drug, which you would think, well, don't people that smoke a lot of pot sometimes eat a lot?
Yeah, the munchies. Hello.
The munchies.
Hello.
So it says, this is a Time article. Toking up may help marijuana users stay slim and lower their risk of diabetes.
Stay slim.
Well, there's some science behind it, too. And it says the most important finding is that current users of marijuana appeared to have better carbohydrate metabolism than non-users.
Maybe that's because they eat more often. And I think there is a theory out there that if you do eat more often, that your metabolism speeds up. And even though I think that's a little bit quirky, I think that it could possibly, I could swallow that one. If it's like if you eat first thing in the morning, it's supposed to speed up your metabolism. Maybe it's that kind of theory.
It's something like that. I was about to say but I meant marijuana users also had higher levels of high-density lipoprotein, which is good cholesterol, and it can protect you against heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm in San Francisco, and you're from the Bay Area,
Yeah.
so this is common.
Well, I'm actually from Nevada. We have quite different views on marijuana laws. I don't have that. I mean, as a state, they have those views.
Not judging.
No. I mean, we usually go Republican, but I'm not a Republican. So.
Well, I don't think it's an issue right or left. I just wanted to bring it up because I'm a big science guy too. So.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and they said there's a lot more research to be done. So.
Yeah, I think that is interesting. I mean, I wouldn't think that that smoking marijuana would enable you to eat like healthier or better, because usually you make like rash decisions on that sort of thing.
I do know a few people that partake in it, and they're actually reasonably fit, but I don't know. To each his own.
Yeah.
So this is really important because I come from the East Bay usually to the station, so I have to drive over the Bay Bridge.
Yeah.
Which is crumbling quickly, and every day the old eastern span of the Bay Bridge remains in use is a risk of catastrophe, says the Caltran engineer. And basically, they're building this new span, which has cost $6.4 billion so far, but they're thinking about pushing it back because there's some bolts and things that aren't structurally sound.
Oh my gosh.
So, but there's an argument, which is, can we just get on the new bridge faster? Because even though there might be a few problems, it's probably a lot safer than the current one, which fell apart in 1989 at the Loma Prieta quake, and one person died, which I was surprised. I just read that. I thought more people died.
Yeah,
but
I mean, a life is a life, but
yeah.
Still. Well, see, my friend just mentioned that that the Bay Bridge is only 30% safe.
Yeah, that portion of it.
I wonder with the new bridge, like what percentage of safety is happening.
It's
there.
got to be more than that.
It must be, and I mean that's really frightening. 30% there's a lot of people on that bridge. I'm kind of having a panic
So
attack
many
right
people.
now that we have to drive back on that.
I try to stay next to one of the side lanes and with my window slightly down so I can jump out if I need to and jump into the bay.
No, that makes total sense.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, that's a great escape plan.
Great escape plan, yeah. Here's something, too. I just found this morning. There's been a lot of problems with cruise ships in the past couple years, actually. In January 2012, 32 people died off Italy's coast on the Costa Concordia. Did you hear about that one?
I didn't.
Okay. In February this year, an engine room fire left the Carnival Triumph adrift in the Gulf of Mexico, and there was a lot of problems with like human waste running down the walls of this ship, and people were
Ooh.
trapped on it. They didn't have any electricity. It was pretty
Oh
disgusting.
my God.
So those were
That sounds like my worst nightmare. Trapped on a ship in the middle of the ocean
with human waste.
Human waste running
everywhere.
down the walls and fire.
When I
Great.
first heard that story, I thought, oh, well, that's not so bad because they probably have a lot of alcohol, a lot of food. But then I wasn't taking into
Yeah.
account the waste factor.
Yeah.
But can't you just dump that stuff?
I don't know. If it's coming down the walls, I'm pretty sure it'd be, it just makes you feel quite unsanitary.
Right.
And maybe it's getting in your food and your drinking water.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the people were super pissed, and there was a lot of lawsuits. But
Yeah,
but today there was a fire on a Royal Caribbean international ship that was going to the Bahamas. It's called the Grandeur of the Seas, and it actually didn't lose power, but it was escorted by the U.S. Coast Guard to the Bahamas at 2:50 this morning, and the fire was put out 2 hours and 10 minutes later. And it had 2,224 guests and 796 crew members. Nobody was hurt, but it's just, have you ever been on a cruise?
I have never been on a cruise ship. I've taken like a big ship from like Italy to Greece one time, but it wasn't like a cruise ship. I think it was just like a ferry. More
That
like a
sounds
ferry.
like a lot of fun, though.
It was really cool.
How long did it take?
8 hours.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
say that's a cruise.
It was cool. I mean, it was more like a family thing than like a
Mhm.
woo party
Right.
carnival ship. But I wonder what's the cause of these fires? Like, what's the synchronicity there?
They're not very safe is the overall theme that I'm getting.
Hmm. I would think twice, folks. Think twice.
But the good news is cruises are becoming a lot less expensive,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
which is good and bad. Last story here, and then I'll let you go, is the world's second oldest man died. Do you know how old he was?
Can I guess?
Yeah.
193.
Only off by 80 years. He was 113.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, I totally thought there was a 190-year-old person.
it's pretty
alive.
old.
Yeah, I thought there was a lady that was 190 something.
So it turns out the oldest person of all time was some lady, because women live older. She was 122 years.
Oh, okay.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
But this guy, James
113.
Sisnet, and he's only the second oldest. He was alive before the Wright brothers took a flight in an airplane. Before,
Wow.
yeah, he World War II or World War I hadn't even started yet, and he was the oldest man in the Western Hemisphere, and his age has been validated by many scientists, so it's completely factual. The oldest living man, though, is 116-year-old. He's Japanese.
I was gonna say I'm very interested in the demographics of these people.
Yeah, this guy
Like
was
lifestyles.
from Barbados. That's where Rihanna comes from.
That is, where
Isn't
she
it?
co- No, oh wait, is it Barbados? She knows. I don't know.
So maybe Rihanna will live till 120 and just have awesome
Ah.
music for the next
She might. We might be shining bright like diamonds for quite a few
for
more
100 years
Yeah.
from now. Anyways, I want to live a long time, so that's why I was bringing that up.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I don't necessarily want to live to be 100 and something.
Do you think it's the quantity or the quality of the
I think it's
time?
the quality,
Yeah.
and I also feel like I already feel kind of old.
Yeah.
and
I just had a birthday, and I feel
Yeah.
I don't want to mention it, but I feel really old.
Sometimes like you hurt yourself and it hurts way more than it used to when you were
Yeah.
like 17. I can't even imagine if you're 119 and you bump into a wall and your like hip breaks or something. That just sounds awful to me.
It does seem like if you make it over 100 years old, though,
Yeah.
the chances of you dying in your sleep peacefully go up way larger.
Good point.
So,
Okay, touche.
yeah, this
like
guy
that.
died on his couch or something.
Oh, I
That's
do
kind
like
of
that.
how I would prefer
Yeah.
to die. Anyways,
We ended on that note.
yes, we did. Whitney Myer, everybody, thank you for coming in. Thank you all for listening out
Thank
there.
you.
7 o'clock tomorrow night, Brick and Mortar Music Hall. Be there, 1710 Mission Street. If you want to follow her on Twitter, Whitney_Myer, MYER,
Exactly.
at Twitter. And your website again?
WhitneyMyer.com.
And for tickets.
You can go to Brick and Mortar.
Okay, there's a website? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or my Facebook has links to the event page also.
Okay. And I wanted to play you some music and tell me what
All
you
right.
think about somebody. I got this artist submission last week. This is a gentleman named Anthony Crawford from Los Angeles, and his manager sent it to me. And I feel like he kind of has that vibe that you were talking about, that electric soul.
Like
electronic
soul or electronic neo soul.
He's a bass guitarist, but he also sings.
that's
And
cool.
there's some other stuff going on in here. But anyways, this is Anthony Crawford. Thank you again.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a couple minutes. And like I said, Jay Johnson's blues house party will be at 3 p.m., so stay tuned for that.